I'm going to show you how to create a few puzzle cubes today, and the puzzle cubes that I create are just going to be a couple that I've seen people make before, and yours might look different, but hopefully this video will help you to figure out how to create your own. So I'm going to click New, and I'm going to choose Standard IPT. Now I'm going to choose from my origin plane the XZ plane, which is my top view, and I'm going to click New Sketch. My cube has been flipped upside down, so I'm going to flip this right side up, and then I'm going to get started. So first I'm going to grab my rectangle drawing tool, which is under my Sketch tab. So I'm going to grab my rectangle tool, and I'm going to draw a rectangle, and I'm going to change the dimensions of this on the fly. And I'm going to make this thing 1 cube tall and 2 cubes going to the right. So I'm going to click, and I'm going to move my mouse to make a rectangle, and right now my rectangle is 3.74 inches long and 1.809 inches tall because that's where I've moved my mouse to. I'm going to enter in the dimensions on the fly here. So I want this thing to be 2 cubes long, and each cube is 0.75, so I can do 0.75 times 2, and it will give me the same result. I'm not going to hit enter though, I'm going to hit tab, and that's going to bring me to my other number. This number is going to be 0.75. So now I've got a 1.5 by 0.75 rectangle. Now that I've drawn this, I want to create a three-dimensional object out of it. So I'm going to come up here to Finish Sketch, and I'm going to click Isometric View, or my home view, so I can see my rectangle here, and I'm going to hit Extrude. I want this thing to extrude to 0.75 as well, and your extrude window might be closed like this, so you can open it up by clicking this little bar, and I'm going to change this distance to 0.75. Enter. Okay, now let's say that I have another cube, or set of cubes, going off along this corner here. Well, there's a couple of ways that I can do this. I'm going to show you one. If I were to look at this from the front view, let's say that I had a cube right here on this corner and another cube poking off the side. This is how you're going to create it. I'm going to click on this face of this cube, and I'm going to choose New Sketch, or Create Sketch. And now I'm going to draw my rectangle. So I'm going to go up to my rectangle tool, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to lock onto the corner of my box. So it's green dot is going to lock onto the corner, and I'm going to draw my cube. This time I'm not going to put my dimensions in on the fly, however I could, because I want to demonstrate something that happens a lot. So I'm going to click right here, and let's say that I was in the middle of making this, and then class was over or something happened, and I'm going to save this and continue it tomorrow. So let's say I go up and say Finish Sketch, and I go up here and I go to File, Save. Here, I'll even save it. So I'm going to save this just as Part 7. Then let's say that I close my file. Now it's the next day. I go up to Open, and I open up my new, or my part that I just made. And this is what I see happen all the time. So I've got this sketch, and it wasn't completed, and I have to modify it. What people will do, and this happens all the time, this is the #1 mistake I think I see people make, is that people will come over here and they will click this face and they will say New Sketch. Create a sketch. And now they think that they're in this sketch with this rectangle on it, and so they come over here and they try and dimension their rectangle. And they can't do it. It won't let them dimension it. Okay? I can't lock onto it either. See? I can't lock onto the rectangle. It's not there. The reason for this is because I just created a new sketch. I didn't edit my old sketch, which is where it was. I created a new sketch. And look at what happens when I hover over the sketch that I'm currently on, sketch 3. Notice that this yellow box will light up red because it's showing me what's in that sketch. When I hover over sketch 2, it's showing me what's in sketch 2, which is what my original sketch was. And so students will get frustrated and they'll say, hey, it's not working. I'm going to go up here and finish sketch. Now I'm going to click this face again. Perhaps I didn't do it right. I'm going to click create sketch again. And I still can't figure out why I can't dimension this. It won't let me dimension it. And so you'll have a whole list of sketches here that are just empty sketches that don't have anything on them. So it's very important that you edit the old sketch instead of just keep on creating new sketches. You should only ever have one sketch up unless you're doing a loft or a sweep. Those are really the only features that you shouldn't be using more than one sketch on. So I'm going to go ahead and finish sketch. I'm going to delete sketch 3 and delete sketch 4. Sketch 2 is where my box is, so I'm going to edit this sketch. And this is now where I can change my dimensions. So I'm going to dimension this to 0.75 and this height to 0.75. I'm going to go to finish sketch and I'm going to extrude this square. I want it to go this way and I want it to go 2 boxes over. So I'm going to go ahead and do 0.75 times 2, or I could say 1.5, but I don't want it to go in this direction. I want it to go in direction 2, so I'm going to flip it the other way. So now it's going this way, exactly as I wanted. I'm going to hit OK. Now let's say that to finish this piece, I have one more cube coming off this corner right here. I'm going to click on this face and make a new sketch. And I'm going to grab my rectangle tool, lock onto this corner, and I'm going to make my rectangle lock onto this line as well. I'm going to bring it over until it's at 0.75. Now I could try and lock it onto the center, or I could just type 0.75 because my bottom dimension is now at 0.646, and that's the one that's highlighted. So I could put 0.75, enter, and now I've got this square here. I'm going to go to finish sketch, and I'm going to extrude this square 0.75. Hit OK. And this is a piece that I've seen a lot of people make. So this piece would be completed now. All I have to do now is change the color. So up here, default, let's say that this was my dark green piece. So now it's green. So now I can save this as green piece. Okay. I'm going to create another one, and I'm going to do it a little differently. So I'm going to hit new, go to standard IPT. This time, I've seen ones that are in a stair-step configuration. So I'm going to go to origin, go to my top view, which is the XZ plane. And by the way, I'm doing it on the XZ plane. That doesn't mean you have to, but for this particular one, I want to. I'm going to click on Create Sketch. I'm going to flip this so it's right side up. And this time I'm going to use the line tool. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click and make a line and make sure it's 90 degrees or going vertically. And I want this to go 3 squares worth. So I'm going to do 0.75 times 3. Now I'm going to bring the line out this way, and I'm going to do the same one. 0.75 times 3, or I could just put in the number, 2.25. Now I'm going to come down this way, 0.75. And I'm going to come in, 0.75. And I'm going to come down, 0.75. By the way, I haven't clicked anything yet. I'm just moving my line by moving the mouse where I want it to go. 0.75. Come in this direction. 0.75. See, I'm just making a little staircase here of 0.75s. Come down here. I've locked on to my line down here at 0.75, so that's good. I'm coming down, locking on here, 0.75. click, and come across. Locked on. This is another piece that I see people make a lot, kind of the stealth bomber shape, and I made it with the line tool, and every time I made a line I put in the dimension that I wanted. I'm going to hit escape on my keyboard. All these dimensions, they sometimes can get confusing. You can pull these aside into different positions if you'd like. And I've also told you that you are not allowed to put dimensions on top of an object. Well, right now we're creating the object. You could have all the dimensions on top of the object if you want. It doesn't really matter. It can get confusing though. What matters is that when you create a presentation file or your drawings, you should have no dimensions on top of your object. But when you're creating your object for the first time, it doesn't matter because I'm not going to be able to see these dimensions anyway. You're going to do it a different way. Just to keep that in mind. So go ahead and finish sketch. I'm going to come to extrude. 1 inch is the default. I'm going to change this to 0.75. Hit OK. And now one of my pieces is created. So, easy peasy. Let's do one more. Go to New, Standard IPT, go to Origin. This time, I'll do it from the XY plane, which is my front face. Make a new sketch. I'm going to grab my rectangle tool, and I'm going to draw a 0.75 tab 0.75. I'm going to hit Finish Sketch. Go to my isometric view. Go to Extrude. I'm going to extrude this backwards. So I'm going to use direction 2. And I'm going to go 1.5. So 2 blocks worth back. Is it okay? Now I'm going to make another sketch, and I'm going to do it on the top of this object. Click here, make a new sketch, and I'm going to use my line tool this time, just to change things up a bit. Grab my line, I'm going to lock onto this corner right here, and click, and I'm going to bring this out 1.5. I'm going to bring this down 0.75. Bring this across until I lock onto this line. And I'm going to click one more time and make this go across. One more thing I'm going to do is grab my rectangle tool, and I'm going to draw a rectangle right here as well. Go to Finish Sketch. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and extrude this. And I'm going to click both of these squares, and I'm going to make them go up 0.75. And I'm going to hit OK. Okay, I'm going to do one more thing that's a little tricky. I want one more square up here on the top. I could click here and make a new sketch, but I'm going to show you something new. On my extrusion 2, I had another square that I drew down here, but you can't see it anymore because my sketch is invisible at the moment. When I click on it, you can see the old sketch here. So I'm going to turn the visibility back on here for just a moment. Right click right here and go to Visibility. Now I can see my old sketch again. I'm going to go to Extrude, and I'm going to click on the square right here. And right now it's going up 0.75. I'm going to make it go up 1.5. Now we've got something new. We've got a square that originated here, and it's going all the way through the material up all the way up to here. Oh, I made this 1.6. 1.5 is what I want. So I can use my old sketch and re-extrude from it, so I'm making extrusion off of this old sketch. So that's pretty nice. Hit OK. And I'm going to turn the visibility back off of sketch 2, so I don't see it anymore. And I've got extrusion 3 here, and this could be a piece as well. So there are multiple ways that you can make these pieces. It just depends on how you want to do it, and you can make them for multiple planes and multiple faces. Again, you'll want to change these colors So whatever color this might be, let's say that this one is yellow. This is one of my yellow pieces. So I'd go up here and hit save, and I'd save this as yellow piece. Hopefully this helped you to figure out how to make your own puzzle cubes. If these were your puzzle cubes, then you're in luck because I made them for you or showed you how to make them from scratch. Otherwise, use this knowledge to make your own puzzle pieces and make them in the same orientation that you drew them in.